And then after Power Slap the next day, it was fight day, right? This is where the headache comes in, guys. So again, I had no ticket. All this time, I've got no ticket to fight night. And again, it's weird because I was able to go to all of these events and I was given complimentary access to a lot of these things, but I did not have access to the main fight night. And this is because, which I was warned in advance, it was International Fight Week. It was a very good card with a lot of people wanting to see it. That meant there was a lot of sponsors, guests, celebrities, influencers that are way more important than me who got priority. But also, I found out that a lot of UFC staff and officials couldn't get tickets either. So I wasn't the only one. And I was thinking, shit, like, if these people are missing out on tickets, what's little old Ali Mack who films videos in her living room? Like, they're not going to give her tickets, right? So I was super, super stressed. I spent the whole day, I think doors opened at like 2 p.m. or something like that. And I think I only found out that I could get into the building at maybe like 2:30 or something crazy. The first fight was at 4, 5. It was like super, super fun. I did not eat or drink anything that whole morning because I was so, so anxious. Like I said, it would have been funny and I probably would have been able to turn it into content if I didn't get into the event. Like, I traveled across the world to go to the UFC and I didn't go to the UFC. Like, I probably could have turned it into something funny, but in that moment I was so nervous and stressed. But luckily in the end it all worked out, which was really good. So yes, we got there in the end, but it wasn't without continued headache, right? So I found out that my access into the event was through a media credential, which I've never actually done before. In the past, when I've gone as media, it's usually like, oh, I'm Ali Mack or government name. I'm here with ESPN or TKO. You're a person that is reporting for a company. Whereas this time I was there on my own, right? So I didn't know how that worked. I went to the box office where you register your name and I was like, I'm Ali Mack. And they were like, oh. And I was like, oh, do you have ID? And I was like, oh, but my government name's something else. And they're like, well, we've got you here under Allison, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's me. So I gave them my ID and they cross-checked and they gave me a media credential. And I was like, okay, so this gets me into the building, but I don't have a seat, right? Like, I have a pass that allows me to be where the press conference happens, which is like a tent outside of the arena, and then the press ledge, which is where media watches right at the top. You're literally on like bar stools at the top of the arena, on a ledge. It's literally called press ledge. And I was like, oh shit, okay. Not really my preference because all of these media people are working and I want to be crazy and jump around like an idiot because I'm as a fan, right? I was like, oh, okay. But when I went in, my name was also down for UFC VIP Experience and On Location, who I've done work with before, which was so, so good and lucky that I had. So they gave me a Octagon Access wristband, a VIP Lounge wristband. I didn't know that I would have either of those. Again, I had no idea what my access was for the week. But funny enough, I actually did miss out on my Octagon access at the end of the fights because my brain, having never done post-fight press conference before, was like, oh, I have to leave now to go and see Dana do his bit. So I actually missed out on going into the Octagon after the fights. But where I ended up being in the lounge by myself was I ended up walking around the arena like 3 times, just trying to figure out where to go. And like, as I'm walking around, I'm saying hi to so many people. Like, they all know that I'm okay to be there, but I didn't have the place where I was supposed to be, which was really confusing and stressful. And I'm in heels looking pretty like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, so I ended up being shown 2 lounges. There was one that was like on a lower level, but that was going to close at the main event at 7. And I was like, that's kind of annoying because I don't have anywhere else to go after. So I went a level up, which was actually on the same upper level as where the press ledge was. So I was like, oh, it's quite high. Maybe I'll like go a level lower and figure it out after. But I saw that they had an open bar and hot food, so I was like, I'll just stay here for a little bit and get a drink and then go back downstairs. As I was about to leave, Tom Aspinall walks in, Marab walks in, Amanda Nunes walks in, Corey Sandhagen walks in, Aljamain Sterling walks in. I was like, I'm staying. Right? It ended up being the most surreal, like, minute change in my brain in terms of how I was feeling, because I was like, oh, I'm so high up here. Like, it's just not really the experience that I wanted. And to be fair, I've had nosebleed seats before. I've paid like $1,000, which is way more than you're supposed to for nosebleed seats before. So I understand where, like, I've been there in worse circumstances, right? These were gifted. So I was very, very grateful either way. But just in my head, I was like vertically above the octagon. It was very, very far. And I was like, okay, well, if this is where I am to be, I guess, like, let's just, soak it up and make the most of it. And then all of a sudden, it just felt like a billion times better when I saw all of these guest athletes come in. And so I was able to meet Tom and Corey and Amanda Nunes. And so it just ended up being a really, really fun time. But here's the thing, right? So anyone that buys those VIP lounge experiences, which I 100% recommend, if you are able to financially justify that for yourself, oh, there's the light, which I know it is crazy, crazy expensive. So this is when I say, like, if you can justify it yourself, definitely do it, because it is ridiculously expensive. But honestly, it is so, so worth it. If you want that VIP fan experience, you cannot get closer to some of your favorite athletes in the world than if you do this, because you have an open bar, you have hot food, and you're socially mingling with Tom Aspinall, like literally the heavyweight champion of the world. Like, what's the price that you want to put on that, right? And then you have this lounge access, which I believe you can't buy the lounge access on its own. So you buy your ticket. This is what I'm assuming. You buy your ticket, which, because they're really expensive, they're going to be quite low on the ground. But then you have the complimentary lounge access as well. So when the main card actually started, everyone had left to go to their better seats. So I ended up having the lounge all to myself. That's the story, right? And it was actually really, really fun, because I ended up just being able to jump up and around all on my own. There was like two dudes like at the other end of the lounge, and I think there were two ladies sat behind me. But basically, I ended up just having the whole area to myself. And obviously, when that Ilya knockout happened, like, I was jumping up and down like crazy, and it was just really, really fun. And you could hear the commentary as well, which is a very rare thing in live, like, UFC events. I've never been to a live event before where you can actually hear the commentary. So that was a nice surprise. So I ended up just having so much fun. What started off as the most stressful day ended up, like, I had the best time, to be honest. And like I said, after the fights, I could have gone into the octagon, which, like, in hindsight, I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't, because I definitely would have had time. But I ended up running to the press conference area where I saw Dana do his little bit, which was cool because I've never seen that before. Yeah, and then ended up walking back to my hotel. I was supposed to shoot content with Yusef Zalal, who we were going to go to In and Out and shoot some fun content there. We were going to, like, eat and talk about the fights. That was the plan, but that fell through because he had the after party to go to, which I could have gone to again, but I'm just not a party gal. And he laughed when I told that to him, but honestly, I could not think of anything worse. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my complimentary media pizza and go to bed, to be honest, because I had the most amazing week. And, like I said, things fell through, things came up unexpected. But I was just being in Vegas during that week. I had the most incredible time.